back. Took a little break there, but now we have 5-star versus Valsux, which is sure to be a very interesting game. I honestly couldn't tell you which team I think could win.
I think this could go truly in either direction. And one team I am personally very excited to finally get to watch on stream is Team 5-star. I got the chance to play against their team, and they were really, really solid. I think they have a lot of players on their team that they really won with the draft, thanks to the captain of Shad Toa. And I think their roster holistically is extremely talented. Val Sucks, on the other hand, kind of in a similar boat. This is going to come down to a scrappy fight of people being flexible and at the same time having to be proficient in that flexibility. I would be shocked if we saw each team run the same thing every single map, but that's what you would expect from this level of a tournament that we're able to create. So absolutely excited to be able to get into this match again. We are in losers finals. This is our last best of 3 series. The winner of this best of 3 has to go face the DJ Vibes, who have not dropped a map today in bracket play. We're sitting very comfortably in grand finals. So even though they have a monumentous task in front of them now, they have to go face the Goliaths. That is DJ Vibes, who entered as the 3rd seed, by the way, into our bracket play today, as we finally head into our losers finals match of Val Sucks versus Team 5-star.
I cannot wait to see the bans. It sounds like there's been some funky things being strategized in both teams' chats. So I'm
Yeah, you can
interested to see what they land on.
absolutely tell who the people that really want to win this thing are, because not only are the streams a great way to provide entertainment to all of you all that are watching it, but it's also a good strategy component for if you are not doing anything too busy, you can hop in stream and see what some of your opponents might be playing. And Devil Dino is immediately banned, likely thinking that Wang Jangler will be playing the Devil Dinosaur, but he was a member of my team and had to fill for 5-star, where his main role is actually strategist, not Vanguard.
Yeah, he's like an undercover agent. We don't necessarily know what he's gonna play.
Yeah, this is true. I do know that his very best strategist is the support pool, but he has a few other tricks up his sleeve that he could be pulling out in today's match. But again, I would expect that he would need to, as there's going to be lots and lots of counter picking occurring here. These are two teams that have deep bags. They're both extremely flexible, and it would not shock me if we saw 5 different comps from each team today.
Smart to ban the Devil Dino into Pandemonium. Anything you can do to put him on a character that he is not as comfortable in.
Yeah, absolutely agree. The Devil Dino that he has been running has been destructive, to say the least, right? Bare minimum destructive. And so getting rid of that is absolutely a big deal.
We also see the Punisher Protect, and we know that Daniel likes to run that Punisher, so...
Yes, he does. I think it's a really smart protect, especially guaranteeing that they're going to have the Rocket and the Punisher team up. It is going to be a issue for Team 5-star. Might be a little bit of a misplay on the bans, but these two teams have not faced each other other than the very first day in pools, where Team 5-star was actually the team that sent Valsux into the losers bracket 2-0. So you imagine they'd be somewhat comfortable in this matchup.
Yeah, and I imagine they want their get back here.
Yeah, certainly. Again, nothing lights a fire underneath you like losing to a team and then having to go back and face them again. As we get a look at the initial compositions for Valsux, sticking to that triple duelist composition that they have come to favor. The only team that's running something like this that I've seen within our tournament. The Loki ban forcing Wang Jangler onto the Rocket as Caitlyn onto the Cloak and Dagger. Now, one thing I do want to point out to you all that could be dangerous. Having the Star-Lord Panther is a great combination. Both strategist players for Team 5-star. are their two low-tier players, Wang Jangler and Caitlyn. Caitlyn only having picked up the game extremely recently, and a very close friend of a player who is sitting in grand finals right now on the DJ vibes. So it is not shocking to me and very strategic for them to opt for a heavy duelist favoring composition where they can target this backline to whatever ability they can.
They start in the same spawn.
Yes, in this there's a middle component where you can actually interact with the other team if you choose to, but there's actually a little veil on the door, so you can choose to just stay in spawn if you want to.
Oh, okay.
But it's kind of Alright, as we take a look at the composition, Honey Wings and Shad Toa opting for the Hulk and Wolverine team up, where Hulk was able to launch Wolverine into their team. Double tank. So we are not on the triple duelist. Snowcut and it's Daniel are now on Punisher and Panther. That is it for them. Shad Toa does look for a grab, not able to find anything. No open here. Caitlyn caught on point, needs to be really careful. Does end up getting eliminated, and Snowcut is taken out, or takes out Wang Jangler as well. Those are the strategists immediately eliminated from their team.
Yeah, again, very dominant controlling of the map here, kind of sweeping through and destroying everything in their path. We know Valsux generally has good map control, especially with Snowcut on Black Panther. That's going to be a problem for 5-star if they don't choose to engage differently.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think Valsux has a good strategy, right? You press where it hurts, and so they're opting for this kind of dive-based composition to put pressure onto Wang Jangler and Caitlyn. And if they do so, they just don't have the experience to really handle that intense of a dive, especially coming from as a talented player as Snowcut, as they immediately gets in there and causes lots of mayhem. This team falls apart at the initially of this dive here, 40% for Valsux. They are looking like a new team against their former opponents that had sent them down to bracket.
Looks like our ult economy on Valsux predictably is better than 5-star, but if 5-star is able to take a slow fight here and protect their backline long enough to get some poke in, we may see some ults come out from them.
Certainly it's Daniel of the Punisher ultimate, likely going to be letting that rip pretty early here, and there it is. Snowcut immediately takes out Caitlyn. Shad Toa will be eliminated as well. LeBurger not able to find the same kind of looks that Snowcut is able to get on the Panther for his own team. But really, a dominant showing from Valsux so far.
Absolutely. Snowcut finally down. Maybe there's an opening there, but we are also down some people on 5-star.
Yeah, definitely. Honeywings falls really low, but they're applying lots of momentum onto Pandemonium here. Noir Assassin chooses to pop the rocket ult. Really a good job by that. Will get melted immediately. Caitlyn does have the Cloak Dagger ultimate available. Likely going to be looking for that quite soon, at least if they want to win this fight. Snowcut does use the ultimate. Not able to find anything. Honeywing finds Daniel. Caitlyn will fall before the ultimate goes out. And this ultimate light show is certainly going in the favor of Valsux. Honeywings, though, a really fat Dingle, able to get any eliminations off of it. It appears they can find Noir Assassin, but I don't know if it's enough. Snowcut is alive and the damage is done. A dominant showing from Valsux again, playing the opponents that sent them into losers bracket, into losers finals, but they're looking comfortable in the matchup today.
Absolutely, and you would expect that Team 5-star has some adjustments they can make. I don't think, as we've talked about, you get this far without being somewhat flexible. So we could very well see a 3-round here.
Absolutely. I think there was a bit of an error leaving this Rocket Punisher team up online. If you hold tab for the stream here, I'm going to point out that its Daniel's stat looks pretty abysmal. You've died twice, you only have 3 Leliums. But let's point out the fact that they've done 8,000 damage in this game already, which makes it to where Gregator and Honeywings can't really be as active as they usually are allowed to, because you have to walk through a Punisher shotgun with unlimited ammo and enhanced fire rate on the other team. So even though he's not lining up your kill feed, he's being incredibly impactful by making sure these Vanguards cannot take space as their dive is occurring. Really a macro-heavy decision that is truly benefiting them in great ways, as Team 5-star looks to find a foothold and a little bit of a fight in this first map.
They did hold on to 2 ults for this fight, and we're only looking at Nokias on Valsuck, so if they come out really strong here, this could be a quick fight win.
Nothing's getting through now.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, we need to get this Cloak and Dagger rolled out early. You don't want to cost any lives initially. Daniel, little bit of trouble, is backed up well by Noir Assassin on the rocket. Does fall low. Luckily, doesn't lose his life. Shad Toa now over here on the Daredevil. Gregator does find Crack Panther. That is a huge kill. Will get res. Snowcut eliminated, but I think we're actually in favor of 5-star. Tons of cooldowns used on Pandemonium. Great target calling. That's 4 members of Team 5-star gunning down Pandemonium, while Honeywings with some incredibly big right clicks on the thing. Finally, putting them on the board with a little bit of percentage.
And I take it back. I guess they don't need ults to take that.
Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
good
Really
target
works in their
priority.
favor. Yeah, I think they're realizing that if they play kind of in a ball together, don't isolate, they can protect their supports much better than previous. I also really like putting Wang Jangler over on the Invisible Woman, something that he's not necessarily super comfortable with, but is the macro better decision. Able to do much more against this team. It's Daniel, does pop the Punisher roll. Gregator immediately takes him out though. Nice work from the main tank player for Team 5-star. Honeywings getting bullied a little bit by Pandemonium. Noir Assassin fighting for his life. Does have the rocket ult available, chooses to pop it. Honeywings does let the thing ult rip and is not able to find anything. Falls actually to the greed. LeBurger takes out Snowcut. Caitlyn finally opts for the Cloak ult. This is a huge support ult from her. Has to live from this Magneto ult over. You have to stay alive. Chooses to cloak out of it. Nice work from the low tier support player. One of the least experienced players in the tournament actually uses the cloak bait to dodge early the Nokia Magneto ball that could have cost her her life. Nice work. And LeBurger is going to pop Punisher ult of his own, showing it's Daniel exactly how it's done. But the counter ult, Crack Panther is walking with the White Bucks. Snowcut is able to take out Caitlyn, now switching over to the Magic, a bit more sustain in favor of her. Gregator does take out Snowcut. Snowcut having a bad habit of staying in way too long. Valsuck has invested so much and have gotten no percent on this point, thanks to the incredible ability usage from Caitlyn from Team 5-star, and Honeywings leading the charge as they have. Pandemonium is going to pop the Everfrost, but the mind control does nothing. Only LeBurger is the one who falls. Daniel on this angle could be dangerous. He's mechanically gifted, 99%. And we have some angles to work with. Not a lot of resources, but we have to keep Noir Assassin up. Honeywings in trouble, finds himself on the other end of its Daniel's shotgun. They are going to end up giving point here. Safe move. You have 99%, no reason to be greedy.
And honestly, I feel like we just watched the longest fight in the world.
If that isn't Marvel Rivals at its core, I don't know what is. And the fight continues already as Snowcut unleashes his ultimate exceptionally early, giving himself a 3K. I love this ultimate from Snowcut. Press the advantage. We don't want to use our ultimates in a true team fight. Let's wait to see if they stagger themselves and give us opportunities. Let's exploit the inexperience of this team playing together. Nice work from him. And so we're going to get a little percentage on the board here. Shad Toa looking for this off angle through the window that goes onto the objective. Snowcut and Shad Toa are taking the duel over here. Daniel is there to help. He absolutely has to get out. No supports over there to assist, but Gregator is able to help his teammate. The thing is in. We decide to opt for not the main angle, someone on the objective here, and Honeywings finds Daniel and immediately rips the ultimate. He's gonna hit both tanks. Really, really nice work from Honeywings. She is opening this play up exceptionally well. A triple off the back of the Thing player for Team 5-star. LeBurger popping the ult to secure it here. And this probably... No, Pandemonium has an answer too. Snowcut's on Caitlyn. It cost him his life most likely, but he takes out supports. Shad Toa fights Noir Assassin. This is actually anyone's fight. It's Daniel does have the ultimate available, but does he have the health bar to support it? Has the white box onto him. The shotgun takes out Gregator. Wayne Jangler is eliminated. No strategist now for Team 5-star. What started out as a dominant performance to 99% falls apart the last second. They have
got a
safety
TP
though. Caitlyn, the first one to come out, falls to the pit. You have to deal with this ultimate from its day. Daniel, but he is ripping and tearing. Wang Jangler will eliminate him. Does get res. And the Invis ultimate is pumped. Just goes down. White Fox doing damage here as Snowcut is in your backline. That means it is game over. First map is taken by Val Sucks, who got 2-0'd by the same opponent in winner's bracket. They make a statement here in map 1 in losers finals.
And you have to applaud the adjustments they're able to make again with that having been 2-0'd. You would expect that they would come in and have it happen to them again. And without making adjustments, it probably would have.
Yeah, absolutely certain. They're definitely taking the intel they got from their previous game where they got caught off guard a little bit and really using that to their advantage. Now you have the chess game occur where you really need Team 5-Star to make the same kind of adjustments, right? Pandemonium, now no longer on the Devil Dino, has a fantastic performance, by the way, on the Emma Frost. 10 final hits, 11,000 damage, and a good amount of damage blocked as well, really making an impact with the ultimates. Specifically, Snowcut, the MVP for their team, 20-6, 13 final hits. Honeywings, the leader for them, 11 final hits, 16,000 damage. Shadchoa being the one, the high tier duelist player here who's struggling just a tad to get active. They need to find a way to enable him if we are going to have a game on our hands.
Absolutely, and I think we need to take a second to talk about how Honeywings is able to really take over space on the point. I know that Team 5-Star was struggling, but I don't think it was without Honeywings really putting in effort to hold that space as a tank, especially as Thing.
Yeah, I agree. And that is certainly difficult against the composition they are running into. It would not shock me if 10,000 of the damage that its Daniel has done has been right into Honeywings on the Thing. But again, seems to not be making much of a difference. But here's the change that really needs to happen. We need Shadtoa involved. He's the captain of your team, an experienced collegiate champion, and a fantastic duelist player within his own right. You have to get him and LeBurger involved in these duels. You cannot let Snowcut run amok in your backline. You have to be able to protect them with your own skill. So you're either trading backlines with your own dive, or you have to be able to take care of Snowcut. If they do not do this, well, it's going to be a problem for their team holistically.
Definitely. The nice thing is they do get to redo their bans, and I'm sure that there are some bans that could help them out, like that Rocket Punisher you're talking about, like Black Panther. They may not get all of them, but even a few could be helpful.
Yeah, almost certainly. I could guarantee that they're going to make sure that that is not available for Val Sucks to be used again. But to do so, you have to open up something, right? You have to open up something
Right.
for its Daniel. He has such a deep hero pool on the hit scan, just, crushing on his mechanical ability that you really can't ban him, right? You have
Right.
to give him something. So I don't know if Punisher is really that character. They have to be able to accept that he's going to be playing a hit scan some way. But again, I really don't think he's the problem. I think you're letting Snowcut do too much on this team.
Definitely.
And so you either have to stop him or get on the back line of Val Sucks. Something has to change. You need Shadtoa and LeBurger to take over this game for them to be successful.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think the dive is just shredding them from behind, and that's a tough spot to be in. That's one of the reasons why dive is a dangerous comp, and also one of the harder ones to pull off. But when you do pull it off, especially against players who haven't been playing as long, that is a tough thing to adjust to in the moment.
I completely agree. Again, Honeywing is really doing an excellent job for 5-Star, controlling the pace of the game. There just needs to be a little bit more involvement. I feel like one thing that Valsucks has had so much success from is they really have some fantastic low-tier picks on their team. Noir Assassin and Pandemonium sat at the top of the low tiers within our draft, and I think they really recognize that. Nokia knew that the bottom of the low tiers could be really, really damaging to a team because of the lack of experience they may have. And so he made sure to pad his team out, not by getting the very, very best players overall in the draft, but looking at the biggest gaps within the tiers and making sure there was no weak point for you to press on. I think that's really beginning to show within the comps that they're able to run over on their squad. So really, it's just a compliment to Nokia Val over anything, building such a impressive squad over here.
Absolutely, and it looks like we finally have a map pick. And I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that map, but we have seen it played before.
Yes, again, I am going to give a little bit of a reminder as I see Noir Assassin is typing in the chat. If you are caught in the stream while your game is playing, your team will be forfeited immediately from the tournament as you are able to watch the stream and see what comps that they're playing. So please leave so we do not have to kick you out of the tournament in its entirety. But again, thank you for coming in during the breaks, but you do have to get out of the stream.
Can I get a sub? Just kidding. Thank goodness. We have had more subs this tournament than we did in the last one, and that is sometimes tough for Avid and I to navigate finding people.
Yes, it certainly is. But it's okay. One of the great things about this one is we had the exact number of people to make sure we had 7 teams to compete. So in the great news, it is we made sure everybody got to play, right? We didn't have a lot of subs in our reserve, but there was no one that got left out of the fun. So
Right, yeah. And we have been able to find subs every time we've needed them. So it's been okay.
yeah, certainly. All right. It looks like our team's already. Apologies a little bit for the scoreboard here, as we do have a 1-0 lead for Val Sucks, not for 5-star, as Val Sucks was able to bring it to them on their very first map, which again, Team 5-star was the team that pushed them into loser's bracket. And they had a fairly dominant performance, especially on the very beginning of our domination map that we selected. So really solid work from them, but this is where you are holding on to hope a little bit. If you are Team 5-star, you have to win this map. Have to, okay, to stay alive in this tournament. This is your chance to make your way into grand finals. If not, Valsucks could run away with this 2-0ing in losers grands and having to face a dominant DJ Vibes team sitting comfortably in grand finals. We finally get a look on what bands might change the outcome of this game.
Ooh, I'm excited. I love that there's always just a first unprotected ban. I think that's a great strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's fun to see like what is the most important ban for whatever team you're playing against. And again, I don't blame. The Devil Dino is the first one immediately taken off the board, and we save Emma, which I think is rather interesting, making sure that Pandemonium has something that he can go back on if he needs to, and not crush necessarily the Dino specifically. And again, the Rocket Ban immediately comes out. I think that is a great adjustment. 5-star realized how strong that Punisher Rocket team up was, and so we have to get that off the board immediately. The Cloak and Dagger are being saved for Caitlyn, who has a little bit of a smaller hero pool, but overall, I think these bans are going much, much better, especially for 5-star, who struggled on their first map.
Absolutely. Lots of support action happening. I appreciate the Hella ban. I think that's smart.
Yeah, I agree. Again, I think giving Daniel a really powerful hit scan like Hela or Cyclops, which might be available to him if they are not careful here, will be a problem. I think their last ban needs to be this Cyclops, or else Daniel is going to be a issue, especially on this map where the sightlines are so large. He's going to be able to push out tons of damage in favor of his team.
I agree with that. You already got rid of the rocket to get out that weird Rocket Punisher team up, but you definitely need to get rid of Cyclops here.
Yes, and if I am Val Sucks, I'm smart and I'm saving the Cyclops, making sure that Daniel has that online because he's just been so impactful on it in the past. Either that or you're protecting maybe one of your lower tier players. But again, your team appears to be pretty flexible. I wouldn't really, crush it.
Not a bad move to also protect the Black Panther.
Yeah, Snowcut's Black
That would
Panther
also be
has
a good
absolutely been a problem. And as we look in the last ban from 5-star, they're really considering the Strange ban. So giving Cyclops and Panther to Valsucks, which arguably could be the two best DPS for their two best duelist players. This could be a make or break it strategy, focusing on the less impactful players per se and trying to cripple them, but you give the best players on their team their best characters. I think it'll be really interesting to see how this works out, as Shad Toa is no longer going to be playing the Duelist. He's actually going to opt over to the Mantis, as Wang Jangler and Mantis have a very powerful team up where Mantis can res herself periodically, gives you a free life per se on their team. So really an interesting strategy that they might be going for here with Caitlyn. Now a triple support comp. LeBurger on the Hela I think is incredibly smart. He is a very mechanically gifted player, and I also love the Thor Groot combination. Thor, the damage that he's able to put out, incredibly destructive, and nothing is scarier than being Groot ulted and seeing a Thor ult hanging above your head and collapsing onto you where you can't move to get out of the way. Val Sucks, on the other hand, could be opting for Daniel to actually not play the Cyclops. Might be trying to fake us out here over on the production side of things. Again, I'd be shocked if he doesn't actually enter this game on the Cyclops, but it appears he is actually not. We have a double tank scenario. LeBurger immediately is going to take Snowcut's noggin off. Great shots from them. And again, Daniel opting to not go for the Cyclops, but it doesn't matter. Immediately opens up with a kill on LeBurger.
And we have actually seen Valsucks play this exact map yesterday, and they did run the Cyclops. So again, kind of shocked that they're not, but maybe they know something we don't.
Look, I am a Bucky enthusiast. I think he can be so impactful, especially if you are really good at him. You can do so much in the game that duelists normally can't do. I think he's like a pseudo Vanguard in some ways. Gregator does find Pandemonium, but you can just control so much of the game. Noir Assassin does have the jackpot online, choosing to hope that makes his team walk. Crack Panther really out of position. Gregator is chasing, not able to find exactly what he looked for. But again, this is a lot of damage that they have to break through as Honeywings is battering down on their team. Snowcut is in the back line. The triple support, however, holding very well against the dive. Nice shots from Shatoa to protect his back line while being the target himself.
And I don't blame Shadtoa for putting himself in the back line. That might be the best way for him to sort of get rid of this dominant Snowcut performance.
I will say, other than Gambit, I truly believe that Mantis is probably the most impactful strategist in the game if you are extremely good at her. If you can lay tons of damage, she does tons of healing, you're basically, again, a pseudo-duelist that sits the backline and can heal. Honeywings finds Nokia. It's Daniel, though, is going to get a reset, but he's in your backline. Finds LeBurger, finds Shadtoa. That is a triple, misses the reset. Honeywings looking for an equalizer, not able to find anything. Daniel still has the refresh available. Is he able to find one? Didn't hit them with the ult, however, as it finally ends. Shadtoa choosing to Mantis ult this with his team down quite a few members. A little risky. Mirrored immediately. Noir Assassin has the jackpot up. Caitlyn does have the Coco, but she's in spawn. No strategist up for 5 stars. Nearly a guaranteed win for Val Sucks, as LeBurger is going to get a nice consolation prize, as they will need to give the first third of Yggdrasil Path.
Ah, the strange swap. I was gonna say that the Mantis ult felt a little desperate and he should relax, but if he's swapping, I don't blame him.
I think the triple tank is really interesting. It has a lot of sustain to it, but I don't know if the supports that are being ran by 5-star are really enough to back it up. Again, it could work because you may not have the frontline pressure to dig through it, but you lose a lot in your backline, and as you lose Wang Jangler too to Snowcut's Panther, LeBurger falls with it as well. Man has been an absolute demon today, being enabled by his team to walk. And I'm going to be transparent. I think Shad Toa might be struggling for an answer here, as he now switches over to the Daredevil. He played a little bit of the Mantis, went onto the Strange, had a little bit of a misplay, and now is over to the Mantis. He needs to find his role in this as a high-tier player on his team. He needs to be having the same impact that we're seeing from Crack Panther and Snowcut. The Hello ult is used.
We've got plenty of ults out here. I could see the next fight or two being one of those big, colorful ones we've been seeing, but...
And it is just all Val sucks as they back for that really early Hello ult, and they're able to just re-engage. The team, I imagine, 5-star, are hoping to get a lot more out of that ultimate than they originally received. And again, just smart play. Back up, don't be greedy right when the ult runs out. Because of the over-aggression from 5-stars, they're able to recontest this just with their guns and win it.
You have to start worrying a little bit about 5-stars mental. There's nothing that breaks a mental like a dive always in your backline.
Indeed, and a dive that's been working so well that Snowcut's been in. The problem is, it's not even a true dive. It's just Snowcut.
Yeah.
If we can finally take a look at the tab here, like Daniel has 17 Elans and 8 final hits. Snowcut 12 with 8, but you got to remember that Daniel is fighting with 4 other teammates looking forward with him. It's just Snowcut on an island in your backline, and he's getting the same impact as Daniel is. The Loki pillars are going to go up. Yes, the Loki pillars come up and you're not able to find anything with that. You're immune while you stand within that duration. Gregator launches the Groot ultimate looking for something. Not able to find anything, but the damage is there. Noir Assassin and Crack Panther immediately fall. No strategist for Val Sucks. This is finally an opportunity for 5-star to stop this payload.
And that's all you need. Sometimes you slow that snowball and you're just able to regroup.
I see you.
Wang Jangler did copy a little late for the Cloak ultimate, so it doesn't get too much value from it, but hey, it's something, a little bit of a misplay, but you still have Caitlyn's Cloak ult ready to rip as you need. But Val Sucks has the arsenal ready to throw at him. Snowcut is probably going to be in this backline any second now with the Panther ultimate. It's Daniel has the refresh. Snowcut does die, luckily. Armed and Dangerous out. He dies as well. That's 2 Duelist ultimates. Erased off the board. No value given. Honeywings is in trouble. Does have the single if needed. And we are hitting our ultimate buttons as Val pops literally everything. But Nokia ult and Snowcut. Pandemonium finds another. Nokia in a lot of trouble as they get thing ulted. And still, not much progress given to Val Sucks just yet. But Snowcut is in the backline, so if anything from over. LeBurger on the Neymar will prove much more difficult for him. Honeywings does get eliminated, grabbed by Gregator, who is now on the Emma Frost. Sorry, grabbed by Pandemonium on the Emma Frost for Val Sucks.
We might as
No
well
cut in
use
the
some more
backline.
ultimates.
Yeah, we might as well. And just keep this steamball rolling, but get aggressive. Again, I love to see this. Take advantage of the disorganization of teams, trying to win fights early. If they walk out of spawn just a little bit too much, you know, and you're breathing down their neck, you might as well bite down on it.
Absolutely.
Nokia looking to find something with the mag ult. And
Cloak
there
ult
is
is not
no
enough
trust.
and too late.
2, 3.
See, it's a little bit of a cat and mouse game because you know they have the Magneto ult for your Cloak and Dagger ult. So if you pop that, you're basically as good as gone, especially because you have to touch the payload. But waiting too long, you unfortunately miss the touch on the objective. So
That's
a little bit of a different
fairly
story.
important. Yeah. Tough spot to be in.
It is indeed, and we need to see something inspiring from 5-star as Val Sucks puts almost a minute and a half on the board on a map that historically is pretty difficult to capture, actually. LeBurger
Oh.
and Honeywings going for the anti-dive characters. Thing and Namor probably being the two historically best anti-dive. Wang Jangler on the Loki as well. The Pillars do a great job of keeping that dive at arm's reach.
And again,
30
this is about the
seconds before your
time when
time.
you are just
Get
hoping
ready.
that your team's mental is okay. Because if I'm 5-star, I cannot be losing it here.
On par with Wakanda's own.
If they want to have a chance, they have to stay locked in.
Just imagine what we could accomplish if we shared our
Yes,
files.
Gregator on the Emma, also a good call. Dueling Pandemonium again. Gregator, a high tier tank player that was drafted by
The battle
5-star.
starts in 5.
Pandemonium, a
Four,
low tier, really
3,
holding his own at this level of competition, not appearing like a low tier in any capacity.
Help get that
Crack
vehicle to
Panther,
its
the one
destination.
currently with the ace for the team with the most momentum, I'd say.
Go back to whatever sea cave you crawled out of.
Honeywings looking to scout out this dive before it happens. Knowing that Snowcut is probably lurking, looking for your backside.
Okay, low.
Extremely low, is going to fall. Lots of focus going to him. It wouldn't surprise me if Snowcut switched, and he does. Nokia, lots of trouble with this new thing team up. A very nice grab from Shad Toa. Are they able to find anything from it? It doesn't look like it, but the pressure is on. Noir Assassin will build the Deadpool. Does build extremely fast, but a little bit less powerful. The Strategist Ultimates is going to be a nice stabilization for his team. Wang Jangler, the first to fall. Now one Strategist available for 5-star. And they're going to need this Cloacal as soon as Caitlyn is able to get it, or this team will be crumbling soon. Shad Toa immediately eliminated a 4v6 in favor of Val Sucks. Caitlyn unable to build the Cloak Ultimate. This fight will be in favor of Val Sucks.
They did push almost all the way, but now Val gets to retake this corner, and that could be really difficult to push into again.
Yeah, certainly. This is a hard angle to get past. But Shad Toa really trying to reach into his bag, playing maybe his 5th or 6th character we've seen him play this map. Now on the Iron Fist, I'm able to stabilize much more within the backline. You can kind of solo dive on Iron Fist much more effectively than you can on some of the previous characters that he had tried out.
Do you think high tiers run a risk of having a big hero pool and then swapping too often, trying to make up for their low tier teammates?
Certainly, but it doesn't matter as the Cloacal is all they need to burrow through this team off the back of Honeywings and Caitlyn walking this team down. Finally, capturing the first third of this map, about equivalent in the offense we saw from Val Sucks. Neither team in favor, but here's what I'm hoping to see. A group Namor ult is one of the best ult combos in the game, especially because the epicenter of Namor's ult can do up to 500 damage.
Oh my
So as
word.
long as they Groot ult and put the Namor ult right in the middle of it, it can literally kill through Luna Snow. And so as long as they save it and trade it with possibly a White Fox ult, this could be deadly. It is unleashed. Do we see the Namor ult? We do, and that will be a huge team wipe from them. As even though it might cost Gregator his life, the damage is done. The White Fox ultimate is used. That's exactly what they're wanting to. A really, really late copy, though, from Wang Jangler. He essentially wastes the Loki ultimate here.
Stop him.
Perhaps just a misclick.
It does happen to the best of us, but they really need that, because if you look on the right side of your screen, the Val Sucks has both Duelist ultimates and both Vanguard ultimates available. They needed an answer as Snowcut immediately pops in, but does die to Shad Toa. Honeywings lets the thing ult rip, does find the Loki. Nice Emma Frost ult will fool them off. It's Daniel finds Wang Jangler, but it's 5-star that's actually in favor on this fight. As long as you don't give Daniel a refresh, Crack Panther finds LeBurger, but they don't need all those ultimates. 3 ults used, and only a single popped from 5-star. And they're actually able to capture this next section of the map with 4 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, that was absolutely well managed. They didn't freak out at all. They just handled them one at a time.
Again, I just love getting the opportunity to gas up one of my own students. But one thing that Honeywings does so exceptionally well is they play defensively as a tank player. They're not someone that you're going to see feed their brains out nearly ever, right? They want to play for your team and enable you to be successful. And that's exactly what they did. Thing ulting the dive as it was occurring to make sure Daniel couldn't get any refreshes was so impactful for that last fight. But Valsux does have the Noir Assassin jackpot, and they are up and rolling. But Caitlyn, a well-timed cloak ult. Are we going to be safe from Nokia's ultimate, though? And we are. That was a block from LeBurger going into his bubble as Neymar. He eats the Magneto ult. Excellent job from him. And now the fight's completely turned on his head. Sometimes abilities, small answers can solve big problems. And that's exactly what 5-Star is doing here, as they're probably going to cap this point with nearly 3 minutes on the clock.
And not to say that I called it, but when we started this match and I said I had no idea who would win, this is exactly why.
We've swapped it up. The dive has been stripped. We're beginning to protect our lower tier support players on our team, and it has truly enabled Shadtoa and LeBurger to take over this lobby with some great help from Honeywings onto the thing. An excellent decision making. And they put, again, nearly 3 minutes on the clock to push this objective a little bit further. Excellently done from 5-Star. Again, sorry about the scoreboard error. Valsux is currently up 1-0 to 5-Star, but could be a change in opportunity if 5-Star can continue this rolling going.
Yeah, we very well may see all the way to a map 4 this series.
Well, this time it is map 2, only still a best of 3. But for grand finals, we do. Yeah, don't get carried away. We still have lots of casting to do. Don't want to wish too much on us because grand finals will probably go the distance with how the rest of these games have been going.
I only meant that they could very well trade back and forth maps. But who knows?
It appears we might be experiencing a little bit of technical difficulties.
Did it just freeze?
Possibly could. It looks like our players might still be in match. And so if we exit spectating and go back, we might still be able to see some of the coverage of what is happening.
If you exit spectate, are you able to?
Okay, just hit escape, hit exit spectate, and then go back.
The battle starts in 5.
All right, a little bit of a network error, a bit of an internet drop.
2, 1.
Let's see here.
Hit escape, go to exit spectating.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Well, I'm frozen now, actually.
3, 2,
We'll see.
1.
Unfortunately,
You need to stop that defense.
we'll see if it'll
Apologies.
just bring itself back.
Only 60 seconds left.
Apologies for some technical errors on my part. A little bit of internet problems taking place here.
It's like watching a flip book. Okay, y'all. Let me restart it. So I think that's probably our only option at this point.
We will be giving you an update on what you missed in the stream very shortly, but I can read it to you like an audiobook as 5-Star is pushing the objective first. Sorry, Valsux. They are currently in overtime, 2/3 of the way through the first part of the map. No Ultimate Online. Nokia will be eliminated first. That is the Magneto player for Valsux, their main tank player. So we are currently in overtime, a one-man advantage for 5-Star, but a strange portal will be ripped by Valorant Sucks. So we are now in an equal playing field, neither team showing any budge. Noir Assassin does pill the cloak ult though, but leaves it behind. Honeywings takes that as an opportunity to use a Thing ult. And with that, they're able to eliminate 2. Noir Assassin does find Wang Jangler and LeBurger, on LeBurger being on the Namor, stopping the dive there. And this fight actually gets turned in favor of 5-Star. Valorant Sucks, only pushing the map a little bit over halfway of this first portion. A really easy hold, especially with only 3 minutes on the clock that they need to get to the end. So this is absolutely batting up to be a series that could go into a map 3. The ban changes really turning in favor of 5-star as they finally are finding their footing, and Shad Toa is starting to get involved in great ways, exactly what his team needs from him.
Would it be easier if you streamed to Discord and I just spectated that?
It doesn't look great. So if you could join back, that would be awesome.
Okay.
We are getting back in our game again. Apologies for the technical difficulties. A little bit of a standstill that we got to see on the first overtime offense from Valsucks. 5-star having an incredibly defensive hold within this series.
You're gonna have to send me an invite?
Yep, I am.
Thanks.
As we finally get our spectating back in. All right, I'm going to stream from Discord because I won't let you join.
Yeah, I had a feeling that was gonna happen. That's okay.
Dory, when we are able to reset a little bit, we're going to get you guys back to the same quality that you saw previously. Apologies on that as we get a little bit of stutters and things with some nice Discord screen mirroring that gets to occur. Honeywings eliminates Snowcut, and Shad Toa is able to get in the back line and cause some damage in himself. This is certainly going to be a second map win for 5-star going into this series. 1-1 now as we capture their map pick of Yggdrasil Path. Excellent job from the teams in front of you now. And we get to take a look at our MVP of the match for Team 5-star. As they're able to push this all the way to where they needed to with plenty of time in the time bank.
Wow.
Finally, figuring out their role, Honeywings is on the thing here, securing a very well-deserved MVP for their team as we finally are going to get a look at the scoreboard of this. Do ignore this. It is not a overall victory for 5-star as it is series is now 1-1 as we get to take a look at the scoreboard. LeBurger, 18 final hits, okay, 43-7 on the Hello with almost 30,000 damage. Backing him up is Honeywings, 37-7, 15 final hits, and a 4K badge next to their name. Really incredible job from them. Snowcut and It's Daniel doing their best on Valsucks to keep their team propped up. But we are, of course, going into a map 3 because what else would you expect from this tournament to not go the distance between all of these teams?
There we go.
We're finally able to get our regularly scheduled streaming back in. Sorry again for that. We're looking for a map pick from Valsucks now.
Yes. Okay, if you're Valsucks, what kind of map are you thinking you would pick?
See, I want to kind of limit this LeBurger from like taking over the game, right? Like you really, really want to make sure that he doesn't have these long sight lines to work with. And so because of that, I'm maybe looking for like a museum of contemplation, maybe. Well, it has to be a convergence map. That's one thing that has to be taken into consideration. So maybe even like you could take like Midnight of Empire, like a Dracula's Castle, could be really, really good for the dive specifically that Valsucks likes. That's the one we got to see from last stream.
Right.
You could also maybe look at like Tokyo 2049, which has tons of high grounds
Yeah.
that the dive can really work from.
Is that a penny
So
map?
yes, it is a Penny Parker inspired map. Um, but that could be really, really solid for this team just to take advantage of the high grounds and really dominate positionally in the characters they like to play.
Yeah, that seems to be where they're having the most value is kind of exploiting the fact that 5-star has to play in more of this ball brawlish comp. Getting our rule book figured out here, making sure that we're doing everything correctly.
This map pick could be extremely important, so I imagine that is why they're taking our time, especially as we kind of get some of the technical things prepared.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't blame them. Bans you get kind of forced to do quickly, but map is another huge decision, and if you can take your time and think it through, you absolutely should.
But again, if I am 5-star, right? If I am Valsux, like I am doing whatever I can to enable Snowcut to just like be in the back line.
Absolutely.
Right? Like he doesn't necessarily need the help on the dive. You just want him to apply enough pressure to Caitlyn and Wang Jangler so that the rest of what you can do will just bury over the rest of the team.
Absolutely, and we were seeing that with Daniel as well, where he didn't have the most kills, but he had a lot of damage. Sometimes just existing and putting pressure out is just as important as actually securing kills.
Yes, certainly. And it looks like hopefully we are finally ready to get into our map 3. Again, this one decides it all. 1-1 Valsux and 5-star heading into this map 3, where they have picked Empire of Eternal Night Central Park, the vampire map that you got to see at the end of the previous stream with Valsux and the Cyber Owls, where Valsux was able to secure a victory.
And a map that
Hence
you
why
had predicted.
they're in this situation too. Yeah, that is one of them. I would have still loved to kind of see a Tokyo, just because it is really fun. You know, it's one of my personal favorite maps in the game. I think there's so many different angles and things to work from within that. And so I would have loved to see it, but I do completely understand why we've gone to the Empire of Eternal Night. Curious if either team is going to be able to save the Penny Parker and really try to take these both very capable dives, Shad Toa and Snowcut, out of the game. But very possible that the bans occur here.
Yes, bans, one of my favorite parts. Excited to get into it.
Let them know that everything is ready. These teams truly know the maximum amount of information they could know about each other at this point. They played each other in the winner's bracket and are now facing each other in the loser's bracket. And so they've seen what their bags are capable of. And so truly these bans aren't a matter of crippling your opponent, but it's a matter of forcing them on a composition that you feel favorable into. Because nothing that these teams have done have really been bad at this point. It's just which play style do you want to play against, truly.
Right. And that's where into better teams, bans sort of matter less, just because you're not completely denying a team value.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially when you have teams full of like the lowest of low tiers, they usually only play, 1 to 2 characters. But when teams are so well rounded, especially when you have so much talent on your roster, you can't take someone out of the game. Again, you're just forcing them into a situation that's the best for you, not necessarily the situation that's worst for them.
Right. Of
See the
course,
Rocket and
early
Dino
Rocket.
ban. Yeah. Again, I think it's relatively smart. Getting Rocket out forces kind of your lower tier support players onto characters that are a bit more difficult, right? You want to force the mistakes. Rocket, pretty difficult to mess up until you're hitting your shift key into their team. So, again, it makes sense, but I really want to see how they kind of change kind of the counter picks. The Loki ban, really, really big for them. A great dive stopper that they have just gotten rid of the capability for Val Sucks to have the chance of playing. And the Emma save, also a great pick, making sure that we can continue to control and grab Snowcut in the backline.
Absolutely. No, it was the other team that saved Emma before.
Yes, and there it goes. The Penny ban is already out. To be expected that this is, again, one of her very, very best maps, especially this capture point here. And a really good character into the comp that Valsux likes to run. As you can see, they're really looking for trying to run this like Phoenix Hela composition. The Cyclops ban, really smart, and getting rid of LeBurger's Hela. Looking at the duelist players here, it's important to get rid of at least their best option, right? You don't want to give them something that they truly could take over the entire lobby of.
Right. Now, will we finally see the Panther ban? Although they did ban Cyclops, so they may not need it.
I'm fascinated by the Gambit save, because to my knowledge, Wang Jangler and Caitlyn are unable to play the Gambit, which means that they might be flexing somebody over to the Gambit that we haven't seen play strategist yet on this team. I will say, if Shantoa is the one that flexes over to it, I think that would be a huge mistake. You really need him to be applying like the offensive pressure that he was able to do on Iron Fist. And again, Gambit is probably the most impactful character in the game if you understand him at the highest level, but you need to be involved offensively, in my opinion. And so I'm curious who they're going to switch around. Maybe possibly a Honeywings on the Gambit instead. Rocket now being saved for Noir Assassin.
Yeah,
as we get our last ban.
We wouldn't see LeBurger flex, would we?
I just don't think it would be a smart idea to flex over. I do love the Bucky ban, because I feel like Daniel has especially been impactful on the Bucky.
The right heroes could make all the
So
difference.
it is Wang Jangler who is picking up the Gambit, actually. But I see what they're doing. They're trying to enable the Rogue team up. Rogue being one of Honeywings' very best characters, and very, very good dive stopper. LeBurger going over to the Phoenix, as well Shantoa on the Wolverine. This is a composition that could be very deadly for this team if they are not careful. A Rogue Goot might be a little bit interesting. I'm curious to see what happens with that tank composition. And Nokia now back on the Magneto, opting not to go for the triple DPS. Snowcut on the damage pull. It's Daniel on the Bucky.
Stay strong.
Stand back, Anna Marie.
Yeah, it looks like
Let Gambit
Valsux
handle
is
this
kind of leaning into what we've seen them play most of the time, at least for the
Just
most
'cause
part.
we're married now, don't mean you gotta protect me.
5 stars
I can
made a
handle
lot of
myself.
swaps.
We should say.
Oh, goodness, guys, I don't know why I'm yawning at 9 p.m.
After I finally got
The battle
We've
starts in
had you
5,
from day
4,
one, Cajun.
3.
We're gonna
2,
do this the same
1.
way we always have.
You have to stop them from securing the mission area.
As we get a first look at these compositions, it's Daniel on the Bucky, not necessarily surprised.
No, not at all.
But we're really going to be looking at how impactful Honeywings can be. This Gambit Rogue team up is exceptionally powerful.
Was the
But again,
Bucky
Wang
not
Jangler.
banned?
See, I was looking at that too, and it looks like that. I thought Bucky had gotten banned.
I also thought that.
But it appears maybe not. So he's able to run it.
Yeah, I don't know. It listed up by his name, up by the Val Sucks.
I see that, but again, I've never seen someone been able to run a character that is banned, so. And I also imagine that if it was truly an issue, we probably would have seen the other team talk about it by now.
Potentially. He did just swap to another character that was supposedly banned.
I do think there must be something going on.
Yeah. I think maybe this needs to be redone.
Yeah, it does. We need to... I'm gonna actually call it this.
Still got a lot left that's worth fighting for.
That's spectator chat.
Yeah, I don't know how to...
I am Phoenix!
But I can't pause it on my own.
Neither can I.
Yes, Levi, I understand that bans are one-sided, but 5-Star had actually banned specifically
There's still a chance to stop that.
those characters for Val Sucks. It's possible that maybe our color coding is a little bit off. And again, we haven't seen any complaints from our players, so we're just going to keep it rolling until we possibly see
He did
one of
also
them.
just swap.
Yeah, we're going to see if possibly one of them ends up complaining about it or making errors, and maybe it's just some technical bugs with the new season. But we will keep it going for right now. Snowcut now on the DPS pool. I think this might be the first time that we have seen this character online as of now.
I
But still,
agree.
trying to get the same impact that he was on the Panther. Does end up falling though.
You know you can count on me.
Ooh. That Wolverine ult took out several.
Better stop that vehicle!
And they're walking this without a ton of issue here.
Yes, they are. Really a dominant performance from 5-Star, which again has been somewhat struggling to get momentum early in these games. But was able to finish out that last round quite strong. It appears they have really figured something out and won a spot in our grand finals. Shadtoa in a lot of trouble, uses some nice movement to get out. And Caitlyn, a really great cloak and dagger. Gregator does walk a little bit too much. Wang Jangler accidentally walks off the map. He takes a trip into the pit. Noir Assassin answers with a cloak and dagger ultimate of his own. This will certainly be a fight win for Val Sucks.
Yes, and it might be exactly the win they needed. They did commit almost every ult they had, but if I was them, I mean, what else are you supposed to do?
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. But finally, they do stop the snowball. Again, kind of similarly to what we saw in the previous match, where now 5-Star is finally stopped on this offense. Most teams have been able to push all the way to this point fairly easily. A very sneaky It's Daniel is going to find two, however. Nice play from him.
And he's still up here shredding Caitlyn.
That's 3!
I imagine they will not allow him to go unscouted again. I imagine he will probably be cleared by Honeywings or Gregator.
Oh, definitely. And in terms of ult economy, pretty even here. Crack Panther should build this ult faster than they would build another one.
Yeah, and most importantly, you have a Gambit ult able to be unleashed by Wang Jangler. That is good enough to be fight winning, especially when you don't have a support ult to answer to it. He pops it, it hits 3 members of their team. The Eye of Agamotto, though, is gigantic.
Oh my goodness.
From Pandemonium. He hits nearly their entire team. Gregator will fall to the other end of Daniel's Punisher, but it's Pandemonium that's the one that opens this game up. Looking, again, like a fight lost to one of the best ultimates in the entire game, but it took both tank ults to remove that possibility of a fight win. Roberger falls a little bit late, gets caught off on his enemy territory. Will,
And that's going to
luckily,
be a big stagger.
You stop them in their
certainly, luckily he gets a luxury trip back to spawn to meet up with his teammates. Gregator does have the Groot ultimate. The Burger does fall immediately. A really rough misplay, possibly from their supports who are currently stuck on low ground. Gregator launches the Groot ult, does find Noir Assassin. It's Daniel, though, does have his ultimate unleashed along with Snowcut. Both duelist ultimates are used, and that will also put a stop to this. And 5-star just doesn't have any answers on this section of the map.
Yeah, honestly, hopefully they can bring out a couple ults here and maybe turn it around, but
Certainly,
we're seeing
a big enough Wolverino could just bring this team off the map if he's willing to make the sacrifice play. He could also use it to try to grab maybe this White Fox or the Magneto, possibly. LeBurger will find Daniel. That is the pick they need, but they do lose a strategist while they are at it. Gregator finds Snowcut. That's both duelists eliminated. They have to use this as an opportunity to win this map. Shadtoa does save his ultimate. I'm glad that he does. Caitlyn cannot die here. Does she opt to use the Cloak ultimate? Doesn't. Fades out instead. Nice discipline. Chooses to use it now. This should be a fight win for them as Shadtoa finds 2. LeBurger, his partner in crime, will find Nokia Val. And finally, they're able to get this cart moving. Definitely going to have room for another fight. Noir Assassin and Pandemonium, both close to their available ultimates. A very powerful support ult. Shadtoa is going to see the DPS pool lurking in this room, not able to grab him. LeBurger and Honeywings need to win this fight exceptionally fast. They cannot let this support ult come out, or if they do, they need to have an answer for it. Wang Jangler does get eliminated. Pandemonium out with the Eye of Agamotto. LeBurger needs to hit a huge ult here, but Honeywings is going to take out the Noir Assassin. The big blood trucks only finds 1, however. This is a scrappy fight, ladies and gentlemen, but the White Fox is very low. Crack Panther does have the TP. Nokia does have a Magneto ult, but he's extremely low too. He attempts to pop it, but loses his life to the other end of the cloak form of Caitlyn. No ultimates available. Gregator the closest, but Favor is absolutely looking for 5-star as they are going to complete this map. Daniel is going to pop his. You have to kill him quickly. That's a worthy trade as Gregator has the mind control out and available. The only one alive is Pandemonium, and that will be a completed map for 5-star. Looking dire there on the 3rd section. They get the job done.
0, 2, 3.
I couldn't have said it better myself. We'll pop the scoreboard up for you guys real quick.
You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
Really some solid work. The numbers truly don't do it justice to what 5-star has accomplished on this map, but I have to really give praise to their flexibility. I think LeBurger, Shadtoa, and Honeywings have played half the dang roster at this point, trying to find answers to all the problems Val Sucks has been throwing at them. Really a nice job from them to take this team, which has not been together long, and find unique solutions to problems.
That's one of the best things about hero shooters is just how creative you get to be in finding solutions. And I think it's also one of the most fun things to
30
watch.
seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Oh, I totally agree. You don't want to watch the same thing over and over again. Give us, some new excitement. Here's what's interesting. Val Sucks, or not Val Sucks, sorry, 5-star, okay, had saved for the Gambit and they're no longer running it. Okay?
Yeah.
They now have put Wang Jangler back on the Adam Warlock, something he's a bit more comfortable with, and they're opting for the triple support, the Rocket Mantis Adam. This is like a res comp, right? You have the Rocket res to get somebody out. Adam can obviously res himself periodically. Mantis can res herself with the Adam team up. And so your whole backline essentially has a free life that they're able to live. A really, again, creative answer. Oh, but Honeywings immediately falls. Luckily, the Rocket Res is there, but that needs to be a walking opportunity for Val Sucks. It's Daniel on the Punisher, absolutely shredding. Snowcut goes in, doesn't break the Penny Nest yet. Pandemonium falls extremely low. Almost caught on Gregator's wall, but luckily is able to get out. Now finally getting to breaking that Penny Nest. That should be their guarantee to try to get aggressive. Both nests now eliminated from the Rocket Penny team up. Close to ult is Snowcut. It's Daniel does find Honeywings, who's immediately eliminated, and the damage pool is in your backline. Pandemonium finds Wang Jangler, Snowcut finds Shatoa, and the reses don't matter when you don't have a team to be healing for.
Looks like they're gonna take this point.
Yeah, so Team Val Sucks now finally getting some percentage here on the board.
That's
But we
5-star,
do-
but for whatever reason our top things are messed up.
Snowcut, Noir Assassin, and that team, that is Val Sucks. It just got flipped.
Help get that vehicle to its destination.
5-star is Shatoa, LeBurger, and his squad over there.
Right. I thought they were the ones attacking.
5-star is the ones attacking. Oh, sorry, yeah, Val Sucks is the one attacking. Noir Assassin does have the Cloak Ultimate online. It's Daniel also going to be taking advantage of that extra survivability. Likely going to be using the Punisher Ultimate. Shatoa does find Snowcut, though. A really nice grab from him. Great focus fire from his team as well. Pandemonium lets the strange ult in. Honeywings does get a grab, but that's just too much to handle. No supportal online to be able to mitigate that damage as 4 ultimates are unleashed onto 5-star.
That
A
does
bit rough,
mean
but again-
5-star is looking like they have many more ults in their bag now.
Yes, they definitely do. But again, we've seen lots of teams get stuck on this next portion of the map. So even though there are 5 minutes on the clock, it truly does not matter based on our experience today. The game has just started as they enter into this second half of our convoy part of Empire of Night. Do have the Elsa Bloodstone ult available. The rest of their team, other than Gregator, close behind. Snowcut chooses to engage with his, does cost him his life. But you do trade a Shatoa. The White Fox also involved. Gets pushed off the map by the Honeywing pick of Emma Frost. Nice work from them. You could likely save the ultimates just off that. That is a huge play from Honeywing. It's Daniel a little bit out of position. Needs to be eliminated as soon as possible. And he does. Snowcut is back, but this is a losing fight. If you are 5-star, you're exactly in the position that you need to be. Holding this map right on the bridge. But you have to chase these kills. We're now in dangerous territory. Respawns are starting to come back. You need to end this fight now.
Still in a great spot with ults.
And the Club Trucks finds 4 members of Val Sucks. And that will be enough. They must have heard me when I said end the fight now, or else things would get dangerous, because they did so in a very flashy fashion. Now you have to be smart, right? Noir Assassin's coming up on a cloak ult. You canceled the White Fox ult exceptionally well. Either Shatoa or Honeywings needs to find a way to mitigate the value of this ult as it happens. But you do not want to overuse in the situation that you are in. Get key value. Don't look for the highlight play.
Goodness.
Honeywings kicks someone else off the map again! Snowcut does have the dual assault, and that cloak ult is going to be a problem as Wang Jangler and LeBurger are sent back to their spawn rooms. Again, still no answer, but they choose to lose this fight with style. Shatoa is actually going to choose to pop the ult here. Really greedy from him, looking for an equalizer. Isn't able to find another. He only eliminates the Magneto, but the progress will certainly be in favor of Val Sucks. I think that was a horrible misplay from Shatoa. You really needed that to be a big fight-winning ultimate. Possibly to pull the Cloak and Dagger out, or even cancel a Strange Ult if you hit it right enough. I think he got a little bit excited, tried to make the hero play, and just this time around, it didn't work out in his favor. Pandemonium does have the Strange Ult available. The Burger will find the White Fox. Doesn't get any kill on the Magneto ult. Nokia finds both supports. That is gigantic from Valsucks. They are certainly going to be able to complete the map off of that. A gigantic play from Nokia will push them to the end here with time to spare. And now we are in dire territory as 5-star will have a chance to attack this, but with only 60 seconds available to them.
The right heroes could make all the difference.
And it appears like 60 seconds is just about how long it takes to fight one fight. Maybe two if you're hurrying.
Yeah, I do agree. It really is one fight territory, especially from what we've seen between these two teams. And so the other problem with this too is a lot of time to break into these choke points that are on these maps. You need the ultimates to go through. You're right. You bank for that support ult, you walk with the extra sustain, and then you make it happen. But the problem is, I don't know if 60 seconds is really enough for them to build anything. They could maybe opt for like a support pull, but
yeah,
that would be really your only option. You're going to hope to have an extended overtime fight here. And then if that is enough, then hopefully you're going to get like a Gambit ult, or Caitlyn's going to build their Cloak and Dagger ult before we can mirror the same from Val Sucks.
But hey, like I said, I'm always rooting for the underdog. I'd love to see them pull out something crazy here.
Yeah, absolutely. We are in map 3 for a reason. These games have been exceptionally close, and they certainly want another chance to go back in and participate in Grand Finals. Pandemonium actually gets one with the Doctor Strange spawn portal. Going for that is so risky, as you don't have a chance to recontest in this fight, but getting that kill is gigantic as Wang Jangler is caught out. I can't believe Pandemonium really had the balls to make that kind of play with this kind of money on the line. Snowcut does use the duelist ult, is going to go in. Caitlyn immediately fell, is going to trade his own life, but he did his job. Thanks to the early eliminations on the strategists from 5-star, there's no way that they're going to be able to build their ultimates to touch, and neither is really anyone else on their team. 15 seconds for 5-star to try to get a touch onto this. Luckily, Shatoa has built a Doctor Strange portal, swaps to it, and flips the objective on its head. They need to look for something here, but Snowcut takes out Wang Jangler, and Honeywings will closely fall to them. It is not looking good for 5-star.
The teleport is maybe the only option they had, but it's just not enough.
Yeah, really a great play, but with nothing available and unable to get your whole team through the portal as quick as they wanted to, they're not going to be able to get any percentage on this objective. Now the only thing 5-star fights for is a draw, which in your case, when you said we could go to a map 4, that would be possible if we got a draw. No points would be rewarded to either team, and this would go into a map 4, but Val Sucks has 3 minutes and some change only to get a third of the capture percentage on this map.
Math has never been my strong suit, you know, but it is possible.
It is statistically possible.
I don't know, though. If I'm Val Sucks, I'm feeling pretty comfortable here.
Definitely. You know that you can kind of play for your ultimates and play for that kind of advantage and then push off of it. As we get to take a look at some of the compositions, and to be honest, I really don't love what I'm seeing from 5-star with Honey Wings on the Penny Parker and Gregator on the Thing. I feel like Daniel has been incredibly impactful and playing no kind of mitigating shield tank as like a Magneto or a Strange. I truly believe is a big error. Daniel's going to be able to rain fire onto this team.
Oh, I've got some signature hand motions.
But showing you would ruin our rating. I believe it would
Yeah,
be best for
hopefully
all
putting
of us
Wang
The
Jungler
battle
back
starts
on
in
a
5,
support he's more comfortable
4,
on will help, but
3, 2,
I don't know.
1. All you need to do is capture the mission.
Yeah, again,
area.
hopefully that
Got it?
Rocket and Penny Parker team up is good enough. Shad Toa is off of the Duelist and on to the Mantis. Again, I appreciate the creativity, but I just don't know if it will truly be enough. It's Daniel, gets his infinite ammo down as begins to rip and tear. Almost dies to a stack of Penny Mines. Snowcut immediately building the Deadpool ultimate, but Soul Bond is out. Nothing will be dying to that. Honey Wings does find Nokia Val, goes back in, and he is tearing this team to shreds. Shad Toa falls, Caitlyn falls with him, and he's looking at LeBurger as his third victim, and he does. This Snowcut dive is unstoppable. A victory dance truly for Val Sucks, as they will almost certainly be capturing this point. The reses do come off from the team ups. Wang Jangler and Shad Toa are up as they capture the point. Even a last attempt portal is not enough. Val Sucks is going to have the opportunity to make their way back into loser's bracket after losing the very first round. And they will be facing the DJ Vibes in grand finals.
And they seem pretty excited about it.
I would be if I were them too, but
I don't blame them.
this truly is going to become a stamina match for this losers run team. They have played a lot of Marvel Rivals today,
That's true.
and they're going to have to go into now a best of 5 series against a team who has not dropped a map today. In good news, though, they should be red hot and ready to roll, and DJ Vibes has been sitting, waiting for this moment.
Yep, we will have that game up to you as quickly as possible. We are running late tonight, but that is okay. We'll be back with
Absolutely.
y'all
We're going to take
shortly.
a little bit of a break. You know, the casting voice gets a little bit hoarse. And so we're going to take some time, drink some water, maybe eat a little bit of food. And then we are going to bring grand finals to you all very shortly. Very excited to see it happen.